Let's start with Southern Cal. Trojans are playing really good football. Trojans got a chance to make a statement in the Big Ten. They're home, LA Coliseum. Guess who comes to town? The Michigan men. So you got Jaden Mayava, who's got almost 1,600 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, only one pick, going against the unbelievable Michigan freshman Bryce Underwood. Now, Underwood has thrown for 1,000 yards, but he's only thrown 3 touchdown passes this season. This is going to be fun to see how SC attacks Michigan deep down the field and whether they can jump to a 14-0 or 17-0 or 21-0 lead and make Underwood have to throw the football a lot. So you got Southern Cal, Michigan in LA. UCLA's coming off the unbelievable win last week. And how the hell was that possible? UCLA, Michigan State. Was last Saturday a fluke? This is going to be interesting to see if the Bruins can take the next step forward. Now, Nico Amaleava is just putting up gaudy numbers for UCLA, but he can't play defense, and he can't do it by himself. But he's got 1,286 yards passing and running, and he's got 10 touchdowns on the season. So you got the Bruins in East Lansing at Michigan State. Really interesting matchup, Big 12, Arizona State, Utah. They're both 4-1 for different reasons. Sun Devils have a really good quarterback in Sammy Levitt, but they got a much improved defense, and defense is playing really well at Arizona State. Utah has got the new coach in Bronco Mendenhall. It's got Devin Dampier. Holy cow, is he playing well. Now, they got beat. They're 4-1 on the season, so this is a great game in the Big 12 Conference. Meanwhile, we've got coaching storylines. This North Carolina situation, we've talked about it during the course of the season. WRAL, NBC affiliate in Raleigh, is the one that reported that there were conversations this week in North Carolina about a buyout for Bill Belichick. Belichick has just been stone-faced. His general manager, Mike Lombardi, has written a kind of a caustic letter to all the big money boosters who help fund the hiring of Belichick, saying you people need to be patient. We're now in a rebuild mode. That's not what was promised. Players' families say it's a toxic situation that seems to exist. There are insinuations that some of Belichick's assistant coaches have already violated NCAA rules as it relates to illegal benefits to some of the players who roared in through the transfer portal. Some of the families of the players left behind say that Belichick is playing favorites with the transfer kids versus the kids that he retained. And they're just miserable on the field right now. They're 0-3 against real people that they played. The only people they beat were 1AA schools. They're on a bye week this week. And they get the story that's swirling around and around and around for the WRAL report. And they say, no, there's no coaching change being made. But the NBC affiliate says, yeah, there were conversations of a buyout already. This is going to blow up in the face of everybody. Belichick, the only thing he'll tell the media is we're staying the course. We're just going to get better as we go. And we're going to fix this thing. At this point, they have not. Meanwhile, at Colorado, Deion Sanders underwent emergency surgery on his leg for blood clots that have now returned. And remember, when he was at Jackson State, he had multiple surgeries and actually the amputation of a couple of toes along the way. He says he's not going to give up as head coach. Now, the Buffs are 2-4, and they're not playing really well at all. But NFL players who are good friends with Sanders think he needs to step aside to take care of his health and appoint an interim head coach. He says no. Sanders says he will be on the sidelines this weekend. Meanwhile, interesting story. Remember Andrew Luck, legendary Colts quarterback who retired early because of injuries? He went to Stanford to become their general manager, kind of take over the troubled football program, and brought longtime NFL coach Frank Reich as the head coach. And they're competitive, but they don't have enough athletes. Andrew Luck's been on a fundraising tour. He got a former Stanford player from the 1960s to donate $50 million on Wednesday of this week in NIL money to help fund the rebirth of Stanford football. It's absolutely amazing. And he hopes this will be a catalyst for so many other great Stanford players, the James Loftons, the John Elways of the world, to donate money to. But he got one player who's a successful entrepreneur donate $50 million on Wednesday to the Stanford program. So, John, we got big games and we got the coaching storylines too. Go ahead.
Well, there's a lot of, big name or big money people there in Silicon Valley next to Stanford. So, yeah, you don't need to just look at former players. You just got to look at university alumni. And there are some deep pockets there. Yeah, I'd like to it'd be nice to see Stanford relevant again. But I'll tell you what, like a couple hours ago, I was driving in my car and I was listening to 97.3, and Braden Soprano was like reading the riot act on Bill Belichick and this whole thing about North Carolina. And it was crazy. I mean, some of the things he was saying, how the recruits the recruits that were made by the previous coach, what's his name?
Brown.
Mac Brown. And the recruits from the previous coach are being deprioritized. And instead, Belichick's transfers are getting, special privileges that aren't available to other players. Some players have the ability to have their family on the field and others don't. No one's allowed, no families are allowed to talk to Bill Belichick. It's like total dysfunction. The culture is rotting away. And yeah, they're looking for buyouts. I mean, this is crazy. And then meanwhile, you have Hot Pants there, which provides some more entertainment to this whole nutty story. I just don't know what everyone was thinking, because this is sort of kind of turning out the way that I sort of thought it would, that an old grumpy man that doesn't do press conferences for the NFL sure as heck isn't going to be this super friendly community guy for UNC.
It's absolutely stunning. And I wrote a column on my website about this, and we talked about it briefly. I think back, Belichick's introductory press conference, he made the strangest statement of all. He made the statement, we're going to run this like the NFL's 33rd team. And everybody's excited. Belichick's infrastructure winning and all that. And then I thought to myself the last week, and I thought again this week, they are the NFL's 33rd team, an expansion team. Expansion teams don't freaking win. North Carolina's not winning. They're not competitive. They're 0-3 against Power 5 schools. They've been outscored 120-33. Now, they won't lose this weekend, John, because they're not playing. They got to bye. But it's like everybody in the ACC has turned on them, and they got the teeth of the schedule ahead. They got kicked by Clemson, and Clemson has been faltering this season. So this is an amazing story that's just not going very well. And you just don't flip a switch. You don't just bring people in and say they had 10 weeks to prepare them in a system that's very different. These kids are coming from all over the place. So it's messy. What's your take on Coach Prime and his health?
I'm a Coach Prime fan. I really love the dude. Just the way he is as a leader and kind of his swagger, the whole thing. So I obviously you feel for him and his health issues, but I was really surprised that he was out there on the field like the next day, or maybe it was a day after the next from his surgery. And he's out there on the field with his team, with his assistant coaches. He's making it work. We all had doubts if he was going to stick around in Buffalo after his two sons graduated and moved on, but he seems like he's committed. So, just got to hope the health, keeps him going. But, Coach Prime and Belichick, they're rebuilding programs like almost from ground zero. Well, Prime certainly from ground zero. But with North Carolina, I mean, when was the last time their football program has been relevant? I mean, you just always think of them as a basketball school.
Yeah, but Mac Brown's been a pretty good head coach for a long period of time. So we'll see where this goes. There's so many distractions now with Chapel Hill Bill and the Babe. I mean, can you imagine? In New England, there were never distractions. He wouldn't allow it. He can't control these distractions.
Well, she is the ultimate shiny object, right?
Oh, you think? Okay, that's all things college football. Feel free to jump on board. Let's go across the hallway